Hi everyone, Rachel Barton from A to Z Business Consultants here. Thanks for joining me today. Today I want to have a bit of a chat about your communications plan and the benefit of having a communications plan before you launch upon any sort of advertising or marketing campaign. So first of all, if we think about your marketing plan as being your roadmap, as to sort of get where it is that you want to go, then that will act as the backdrop for today. So obviously we all have some goals, and we set those. The very first step we do is to set our goals, and then we need to have a tactical plan or a communications plan on how we're going to go about reaching those goals. So that's the first main reason that we need to break it down so we actually do achieve our goals. The next thing we want to consider is that that we don't operate in a vacuum. So we all have relationships within work. So we have a relationship with our audience. We need to consider who our audience is, who we're speaking to, and then from that we can start to develop our messaging. What's our messaging going to look like? What's our copyright going to, our copy going to look like? What are we going to write? And then we can start to get a feel for what channels might work best for that sort of copy. You're not going to write the same sort of copy for a newspaper as you might write for Instagram, for example. You need to really make sure that your message is fit for purpose within the channel that it's going out for. And then you can start to think about your activities. So are you going to create an offer on Facebook and offer some sort of discount? Or are you going to have an event where you're going to talk about your product or service and offer some kind of discount there? Or are your activities going to be more one-on-one? Are you going to be meeting with your customers and clients directly to spread your message? What's that going to look like? So that once we've sort of discovered our purpose and we've got our objectives and we've got our communications plan, and we've sort of dissected it up into what our audience is and what our message is and our channels, the activities we've got, then we're going to start thinking about what materials are going to help us to get that message across. So are we going to have a HTML email that's going to go out to our audience? Or are we going to have something hard copy that we can hand out, or something that we're going to post out? Is our material going to be a video graphic that we're going to share on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram? What's that going to look like? Or is it more of a single image that we're going to focus on? So there's a lot of information to consider in this piece. Where we're looking at the relationships and how to get the best out of each of those. So once we've got a variety of activities and we're starting to roll those out, we really need to start to project plan those. So have a plan and have each of the project steps scheduled in for a certain time. We need to track that to see whether we're actually meeting those targets and milestones, or are we missing them, because that will really help us understand whether we're developing and moving along our continuum at the right pace. So that pace is really important in marketing. We need to understand when and what to share and on what channels. So we really need to make sure that we're keeping the pace of our plan in line. For example, we want to make sure that when we sending a message out about announcing a new product or service, that we have a follow-up message at the right time after that to create a call to action for the audience and ask them to be doing something. So once we've got their attention and we've talked to them about a product and we've created an interest, we really need to strike at that point to get that sales lead or get that customer to come in, to act or to buy, to do whatever it is that we need them to do. So that is all part of the planning. And if you have stakeholders, so if you're working with a stakeholder to deliver your product or service, you really need to get their buy-in as well and get their ideas when you're developing your communications plan. So whatever part they might play within that plan is invested in from their point of view. So there are a few tips and points to remember when you're completing your communications plan or developing one. A recommendation that you do a communications plan for your year, and you do a quarterly review to see whether your plans and your items on your plan are being achieved, and if you do need to adjust or change anything within them, that you do that. Thanks very much. If you're interested and enjoyed today's video, then I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's A to Z Business Consultants, or follow us on LinkedIn or Facebook. Thanks very much.